Now let's return to La Habra, California to the Boyd Coddington Car Show. You know, we have done over 200 episodes of the show, and I've had some pretty big wheels on this show, but we have finally made it to the top, the biggest wheel in the industry, Mr. Boyd Coddington. Boyd, it is an honor to have you on the show.
Oh, thank you for the compliment. That was very nice. Thank you.
You betcha. I'm looking around and seeing the art that you have created over the years. How did you get into all this?
Well, growing up in Idaho, always loving hot rods and custom cars, I just started all as a hobby and then ended up working for Disneyland as a machinist for quite a few years, then opened my business behind my house in 1978. So from there, it just kind of went on and on. So
I'm looking around the shop here, and I'm seeing lots of cars in the process of being built, and I'm seeing a couple of them that I recognize from magazines. Can we have a look around?
Sure, sure.
Boyd, you're at the cutting edge. I don't think that's too strong of a term to use on a lot of your design work, and the Alumatruck here, it took some courage to make this in that there's no paint on this. Everything is silver. It's really neat, and I think it's done, isn't it? This is a finished car.
Yeah, we're going to actually call this quits. I got to look at it after I got all done and liked it so well just in its natural state that I said I'm just going to leave it alone. The exercise we did is I always wanted to build a car all out of aluminum. And I think we've pretty well done it. We've actually, the chassis is aluminum, the front axle's aluminum, the engine's all aluminum, the steering column, the body, everything. About the only thing that's not aluminum is the wheels or the tires, actually. You know, so.
Yeah, that'd be a rough ride.
Yeah, that'd be a little stiff, but this has been a real fun project, and we had a great time with it. It really shows some. It's right on the edge of being nostalgia and high tech, and that's where I want to be on that gray line with it. So.
Right. Yeah. What's the running gear on it?
Well, that's a small block Chevy with a power glide transmission with a Winters quick change rear end, which made all the stuff for it. But it's probably about a 600 horsepower motor, which got internally fuel injection. It's all converted over to a computer and everything. And it's pretty dependable and pretty responsive.
So this thing being all aluminum weighs like what, 35 pounds or something?
1,300 pounds. Yeah.
That is really light. That's amazing. I saw the article in Rodder's Journal where they compared this to one of your son's cars. That was a real interesting comparison of the two. What's he feel about your car, and what do you think of his?
Well, to be honest with you, that's a tough one because he's grew up with all this kind of high-tech stuff, you know, and then his car's actually here or outside, but it's kind of the opposite of this. I mean, this is kind of like, you know, like I always tell those guys, you know, that you guys are making all the mistakes that I made 25 or 50 or 40 years ago, you know. So but they like it, and we're glad they do like it because it's another interest, and then it's just kind of interesting to see the comparison. So,
well, it's a beauty. Looks like you're well on your way to this project. What do you have going on here?
Well, this is actually a car we're doing for Steve Barton and Mary Barton in Las Vegas, Nevada, and that's got a Schubeck motor. That's a 900 cubic inch motor with about 1,200 horsepower. You see it's so big, it's kind of growing out the side of the hood. And this is a all steel body to represent one of our 32 Boydster bodies. Marcel and his sons made the body. And we're going to have this car done by the summertime. This could be an interesting car because it has such a big motor in it. And it's a real hot rod.
So there's going to be triple parachutes on the back, and they're going to give a warning in every neighborhood they drive through?
No, I think it'll be, hopefully we can get it tuned down enough to where you can drive it in the streets. But we're very happy to be working on this project here.
Boy, that's an interesting looking power plant. And this, what do you got here?
That's actually I have a Cobra Mustang. That's one of the new Ford Lightning motors that comes in the Cobra Mustang, and that's got the blower and everything right from the factory. So it's going to be a real nice project. This is a 37 Ford two-door. This is actually for John Conan, who lives up in Seattle. It's going to be heavily restyled. The top's all going to be chopped and laid back, and it's going to be a really, really high-style vehicle.
You're doing the normal top chop on this. What other alterations are you doing on it?
We're actually going to take a pie right out of the middle of the body to give it that wedge look. Lean the top back here. You see, we'll lean the front windshield post back, and actually lean this part. This is the stock line here. And then this whole thing is going to be reshaped here. So it's going to be a pretty nice-looking car when we get done with it.
Well, this looks like about 2 steps past the very beginning of a project. What do you have going on here?
Well, this is actually going to be a one-off car. It's fashioned a little bit after Delahaye. We're going to call it What the Hay. This is a car for a gentleman out of Dallas, Texas, Scotty Gray. And this is the start of it, the chassis and everything with a Viper V10 in it. And then you see the rendering of the car. It's going to be a real high-style, kind of like a European French-look car, but it's going to be American hot rod.
Not too many years back, it seemed like a lot of us started figuring out that the Delahaye's and Talbots were just incredible looking cars.
Yes, the very, very high. We just took one and just kind of, if you'll see in the drawing, just kind of restyle it. But they were very beautiful cars in the 30s.
Mm-hmm. The influence of these on cars currently, it seems to be, getting more so rather than less.
Yeah, I think because they have some very, very unused good lines, so.
Mm-hmm. Well, tell us a little bit about what you've got going on here.
This is a 29 Coupe. I wanted to kind of do this after I did the 29 Illuma truck. This is all steel, of course. But they wanted to take the 29 Coupe and restyle it and use a lot of the same components we used on the Illuma truck with the same motor. But the rear end has actually been all fabricated, machined out of billet. It's a pretty interesting piece. Then we got the front axle is all the stuff we've made up here. But it's going to be a lot like the 29 truck. It's kind of a unique little car between high tech and low tech. So we're excited about that one too. So
the running gear in this will eventually be
a Chevrolet, yeah.
Are you finding? I know we looked at the Ford motor over there, but most of your projects are Chevrolet powered. Is there more of a trend going towards Ford, or is it still staying with Chev?
I think a lot of people are using Ford too. I think it's kind of like 6 and 6, but the Ford's a very good motor too. So we like them both.
Looks like you've got a project going here on a body that I understand you're reproducing and making available.
Right. We got the Boydster 1, the Boydster 2. This happens to be a Boydster 2 project in process, which the Boydster 1 does not have fenders. The Boydster 2 does have fenders. This takes off a car we built back in the late 90s, and I made this available to the public at a pretty reasonable price. Now, the complete rolling chassis with the body and everything starts out about $32,000. So we've made this pretty affordable for. So this happens to be a complete car we're doing here, but this is a nice package. I have the bodies made in Australia where they're very, very high quality, and it really makes it a nice, easy project for somebody to do home in their garage.
Mm-hmm. Any limit to the number of bodies you're going to make, or as long as they're a market, you're going to keep making them?
I'm going to keep making them as long. Now the Woodies we're doing a 32 Woody project. We're only making 10 of those, but these are an unlimited amount. Yeah. And after this comes the Boydster 3, which is a 33, 34. So.
Well, let's take a look at what this can look like with paint on it. So all you did was take what we just looked at and just threw a paint job on it. It ends up looking like this, huh?
Put a little interior in it, and there's what you got. This has actually got a LS1 motor and a 4L60E transmission. This is actually the giveaway car we're going to give away in Columbus, Ohio this year for the Gary Metters Good Guy event. So
this is one of your more famous cars. Do you find people just, when they think of you, they think of this car first, or
I think so. I think this the Boydster projects have been very, very good for us and very popular. So that's why we're reproducing them in fiberglass.
When these go out the door, do they just kind of fade from your memory? You don't give them much thought, or is it like your children out there and you're wondering how they're doing?
I always I know about where every car is ever built, so keep very close tabs on them.
Well, that's beautiful. Well, Boyd, I'm very pleased that you took the time to talk to us, and real excited to be here at your facility. I know you have a car show going on here today, too.
This is we're just getting ready to go up and draw for a free set of wheels and some hats and T-shirts and stuff. But I'd like to tell everybody out there watching this that we really appreciate people buying Boyd Coddington products.
Mm-hmm. And your wheels especially. They're fantastic, and I think I'm going to leave here with a couple of clothing items.
Great. Thanks a lot again.
Okay. Thank you, Boyd.